Hello, Minecrafters and Redstoners. I'm Natanus Likens, and welcome back to my little channel here. Today, we are obviously in creative mode, but we are actually in Snapshot 23W45A. This is a 1.20.3 snapshot. And the main reason we are here is they have implemented the trial chambers in this. And I just realized that I need to do this real quick. Uh, what's the command? Um, game rule do daylight cycle false. Set time set noon. Okay, there we go. Yes, so we are here in this. I should have done that earlier. I apologize about that. This is going to be raw going up. Yeah, we got some issues. We'll try and sort that out at some point. But yeah, we need to talk about a few things before we really get into this and get into why we are here. First off, videos, future videos on my channel. And where have I been? It's been almost I think we're at a month now since the last video that I posted. I'm not entirely sure what we're at the moment. Um, yeah, so I had extended family in, which meant that I couldn't really record, and it's kind of annoying. Now, we did have some free time after they finally left. However, my actual family was being, their usual annoying selves about me spending any time trying to record videos. So I wasn't able to do that. So I do apologize about that. Future videos and the future of our channel. That is up in the air. The Rift Season 2, or Through the Rift Season 2, is on permanent hiatus. I don't know when I will be able to actually continue that. I don't know when I'll be able to actually work on the set or sets of season 2. I do want to try and get a little more of the story involved, though we have been doing the typical Minecraft thing where you talk about your build, you talk about doing a build, and then you do a time lapse, and you're just trying to show your world progressing. I do want to be able to do a little bit more story in my episodes and really get that hammered on. But that requires time, and if you've never made a video for YouTube before, it takes a lot of time to get some of this out, because first off, you got the planning phase for anything that you're building, and then you actually have to go in and build it, and then you got to go and record all that, and then you got to do the edits. It gets most YouTubers out there, if you're watching me, you know what I'm talking about, and you're like, well, what's the big deal? This is the deal. So my current work schedule is not that bad. I can try and do a little bit of recording when family is not annoying me. About 5 days out of a month right now. I can do a little bit more, but it's going to be more annoying and it's going to have a lot more edits on it, which is fine. I can still try and do that. However, my work, where I am now working, because YouTube did not work out as far as, affording me to, be able to have a life, um, didn't work out, so I had to find a job, and that job is getting a new schedule come the new year. So 2024, I will be working a new schedule. And that schedule is I'm just gonna be blunt here. It's gonna screw me over on making any videos, and there's nothing I can do about it. As the new guy on shift, I have been given the cruddy choice of what shift I'm going to. I will be going to night shift. Now, most of you may think, oh, that's fine, just record at night. Yeah, big problem with that. Everybody's asleep at night, so I can't sit here and talk. Recording during the day. No, did you miss the fact that I said that this is night shift? So I'm going to be on a permanent night shift schedule from 7 to 7. So trying to wake up and be alert when nobody is around or anything so that I can actually do recording is going to be kind of a pain in the butt. So this is going to be up in the air, and I'm going to have to figure out something. A lot of things are looking very bad for the future of my channel at the moment. There's not a whole lot I can do about that, and I'm at the mercy of whatever fate decides and everything. So hopefully I can figure out something. But as of right now, I'm looking at it, and there's no way. My channel is just effectively going to be dead for a while, and until I can get out of that situation and get back to recording, it is what it is. So I'm not even sure at this point if we are going to make it to the 2 year mark of creating content, which is kind of a technicality. We've actually been going about 3 years now, but you're not going to find very many videos that prove that. Uh, Actually, the channel itself goes back a lot farther. Um, and we've deleted a lot of videos, but yeah. So there is that, and I just wanted to get you guys aware of that. And if you can find it within yourselves, say a little prayer for me on that note, because I really feel like this is what I am being called to do, and everything is turning out to blatantly keep me from being able to do that as of late. Um, so yeah, that's where we're at with our channel and the return to season 2 of Through the Rift. Okay, so let's get into the meat of this episode. We've got enough downing information there. Let's get into the meat of this episode. Why are we here? This is the trial chambers. Uh, Snapshot. So we get to look at the trial chambers, and I know a lot of people have done that in various ways, and mostly looking at the architect, looking at how the spawn mechanics work and everything. That is not actually what I am here for. I am here to check out the loot. Um, Now, with that being said, we do need to talk about the loot a little bit. I don't know what the loot pool is. There's plenty of other videos out there that have the full loot pool for the trial chambers. In fact, I do believe it Exumavoid's latest snapshot video, which was released, I think it was released on Thursday the what, the 9th? Yeah, Thursday the 9th of November. He did mention in his video what the loot tables are for all that. You can go and watch his video to see a full breakdown of what all the loot is, because the loot does vary from uh, container to container. Um, but that's kind of what I'm interested in, but not so much as a what's in there, as much as I am interested in seeing what do you get. Like, if I go into an actual uh, trial chamber, what all am I going to come out of it with? Um, Now, I did find one. There is one underneath the mountain over here, and it did have some interesting items in the loot, but we didn't actually try the trial chamber. And part of my reasoning here is we want to look at what we get within a certain amount of time frame, within a certain amount of dungeons. Is it worth it to even bother with these? Because as of right now, I am still on the side of it's not worth it. It's just a waste of time, it's a waste of effort, and the risk reward factor here is like Mojang's pretty bad about it. The risk, and I'm gonna say this with a grain of salt, because it's kind of this back and forth thing on how difficult I think the trial chambers are going to be. Um, I don't think they're that difficult. However, However, I don't think the loot tables that they have and what you can possibly get are worth the trouble and the risk of death to do these. It doesn't matter if you're in just a normal playthrough or if you're in a hardcore world. I don't see the risk as worth it. I really don't. Just what I saw in all the chests down there, it just tells me that this is not a really good idea. It is a interesting idea, but this is something that they should have like left to map makers instead of putting into the base game. Like, it's kind of pathetic, to be perfectly honest. That is my actual opinion on that. So that is that. Now, before we actually get into that, there are two things I do want to go over from my previous videos. And the first thing that we need to talk about, I need to go here, is this guy, the Crafter. I have stated over and over and over again that I don't like this item, and I think it's pretty pointless and useless, and making contraptions for it just, it's inefficient. It's not that good. Now, take that with a grain of salt, because there are some instances that I have had my eyes open to that makes this crafter absolutely worth it. And one of those is the combination farm of a gold farm and a piglin bartering farm. Now, originally when I was thinking up the concept of this video, I was thinking, we're gonna say that, then we're gonna cut over to my Let's Play world, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about, but I don't think that's actually necessary. We're just gonna stay right here and talk about why I think this is going to be amazing for piglin bartering and for gold farms. And that has to do with these two items right here. So if you didn't know, gold farms end up producing a lot of gold nuggets. And depending on how you have your gold farm set up, these gold nuggets usually go to waste, or they overflow the chest setup, the storage system that you have, and then they start going to waste. With the crafter, that's no longer going to be an issue, because you can set this up to crank out gold ingots one after another with this crafter. That is absolutely amazing. It's something I did not realize when I made my initial videos. You may have seen a gold farm setup, sort of, in my last two videos where I was looking at the crafter and experimenting with it like everybody else. And I didn't say anything about it, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that this is going to be absolutely game changing for gold farms and piglin bartering farms. So we also get, or with the piglin bartering farms, one of the things we get from it is iron nuggets. And same deal. We can take the crafter and the iron nuggets and constantly just make iron ingots out of that. We could take that a step further and also make iron blocks. That's really up to you, but my point is, it's going to save the hassle of dealing with the nuggets considerably. Like, I'm shocked at how well this is actually going to work. And hey, you could actually even go a step further than that and just make a insane amount of chains within your piglin bartering farm. Um, Now, there are two other items, or technically three, now I think about it. Technically three other items that we can quickly mention. Quartz. You can actually use this for the quartz that's coming out of your piglin bartering farm. I would recommend against that, because you do need the base raw quartz for several different crafting recipes. First one that came to mind was actually um, a daylight sensor. That was the first one that came to mind. I do believe you also need it for observers, and there's a couple other things, but I can't think of them right off the top of my head besides blocks. So you can use that to just automate blocks. You could potentially automate some of the other things like observers, but then you get into like having to connect the piglin bartering farm to a witch farm, so you get the redstone. But we're not going to worry about that. But it is possible. It is something you could do. The other thing you could do, and it's got the exact same problem, is nether brick. You could take the nether bricks and turn them into nether brick blocks. Um, well, there is a problem with that. In order to make red nether bricks, you actually need nether bricks and uh, uh, nether wart. There we go, nether wart. Brain didn't want to click on there. So you got those two items you can potentially use that for. And then the third item that I had mentioned is string. You actually could take all the string and make it into wool. Why you would do that, I don't know. You don't really need that per se. Uh, just kind of something odd that you can potentially do is just make a whole bunch of wool. But yeah, the crafter for the gold farm and the piglin bartering farm is going to be absolutely amazing. I can't say enough good things about it, and I do apologize if it sounded like I hadn't thought about everything because those snapshots came up. I have very limited time between my shifts, so I just thought about things I could do with it, tried it, realized that this is going to be way too much. It's going to be inefficient. It's going to be a waste of time on a lot of things. Um, and I didn't really think about all the possibilities of this. Given that we've now had this item for how long's it been now? About 3 weeks, something like that. I have had time to think about it and was planning on doing something ridiculous to see exactly how many different items at once we could make, and yeah, I came up with a lot. I'm not building that because that would take way too much time and a lot of redstone logic that really just hurts my head. Um, so there's that. The other thing I want to talk about, because there is a lot of talk that the loot from the trial chambers is basically to be a counter to the changes to villagers that are coming. I can't say this enough. I do not want them to actually change the villagers. I do not like the idea of what they're doing. It's just going to make it far more annoying to deal with villagers than it already is. Mojang, you're not giving us an easy time with villagers, and your experimental changes are just going to make it that much worse. Please drop it. And everybody out there, please drop it. You don't realize just how problematic that is going to be. In fact, Cub Fan 135 actually did a video on this where he went out, created new villagers where he needed to in order to get certain enchants, and this was just one set of villagers in a specific biome. This was just one, and it took him almost, if I recall correctly, it was almost 4 times as long as it would normally. It was 4 times longer for him to do that, so I really don't like it. Now, the other reason I don't like it, and most people probably haven't even thought about this, is by breaking all of the enchants up, all the enchanted books up into different villagers, you now have to have all the different types of villagers in order to have all the different enchants. Um, I don't like all the different villagers. I really don't. I absolutely hate most of them. Unfortunately, this is where we spawned. I do believe if I spawn in some villagers, they are going to be the snow type. Um, the snow type isn't that bad. The swamp type is not that bad. But if you know anything about me and my channel, I prefer the spruce forest or taiga variation of villagers because those to me are the most fitting for steampunk. Um, and I definitely hate the jungle ones the most. Like they're absolutely horrible. But my point is, I don't want to have to deal with some of these other villager types that I just can't stand. And I really, just the thought of it is enough to warn me off of playing anything above uh, technically 119. I have thought about going ahead and going up to 120, though I still don't like what they did with the armor trims and all that. I really don't like the idea of the upgrade for netherite. But yeah, that's just my opinion on that, and I really hope that they don't implement those experimental features because I can't stand it. And even when I was exploring this trial chamber that we are going to get to in a few minutes, the loot the loot in Minecraft just sucks. I'm just gonna be honest. Loot in Minecraft just sucks. Um, Not something I really want to see or do or deal with. So first and foremost, before we get into a time lapse of me taking on that thing, I am going to have to get over there, but we are going to have to gear ourselves up a little bit, and I don't know if I carry things in spectator mode. Hang on. Let's do something real quick. Okay, let's switch to spectator mode, and okay, so we still have that in our inventory. And switch back over to creative. Yes, okay, so we keep the sword. So we do need to get some gear. We're not going to go with netherite. We are going to do a little bit of a mix. Now, when Exuma, and I'm sorry I keep using Exuma and using hermits, even though it's a whole thing. Um, in Exuma's video and breakdown of the trial chambers, he noted that the trial chamber is said to be something that you take on mid game. Okay, mid game is up to interpretation as far as your progress level. And in Exuma's video, he only had iron gear, iron sword, iron helmet, iron shield, iron uh, chest plate, iron pants, iron boots, and a shield. That's it. That's what he had. No enchants, just raw iron. To me, that is not mid game. That is early game. So when he did that, he actually made it a little more difficult on himself and made it look like the trial chamber was actually a riveting challenge. Um, are you really that pathetic? Uh, for a Hermitcraft member, I would say that a mid game playthrough means that they've got fully enchanted diamond armor and diamond swords and diamond gear. Um, so I don't know why he did that except to try and boast the trial chamber. So it seems kind of presumptuous to me that he did that. Anyway, I'm going to grab some gear and put it together. We are going to try and not be overpowered gear. We are going to give ourselves a little bit of leeway in some places and try not to get as OP gear as I think you should have by the time you come across one of these and go into it. Funny enough, in his video, he said these were going to be fairly common and you should find them pretty easily. Actually, this one under this mountain here, yeah, it's not as easy to find as you would think. Just looking, but then again, we got some fun things going on down here. I'm not sure. Before I go and get my armor, let's or get my gear set up. Let's see if I can find this again. So there it is over there. I guess it's not directly under the mountain. But there was something that I noticed that I've never seen before. And I'm wondering if this is a change within this. Oh, look, here's a abandoned mine shaft. But I'm wondering if what I found over here is a change within 1.21 or if this is normal. I'm not even sure I can find it again. But it's something that I have never seen. It actually kind of freaked me out a little bit when I came across it. Okay, we're not going to find it again that easily, are we? Okay, so somewhere down here is a ruined portal. Like netherrack, broken portal frame, the gold block, all that jazz is down here somewhere. I've never seen one underneath the ground before. Usually they are on the surface, but this one was in the ground, and I thought that was really weird. Okay, yeah, I don't know exactly where that is at. Oh well, we're not going to worry about it. We are going to get myself geared up, and we're going to try and take this on and see exactly how much gear we get from it, how much loot. and see if, in my opinion, it's even worth the trouble. I'm not entirely sure where I want to enter this from. I've lost track of where the tree is. So Exuma kept saying that the tree, where the tree is going to be the actual entrance for this place, or the assumed entrance. Obviously, if you're playing through on any of this, you're probably going to find a random entry point somewhere in this, and then go from there. Where the heck is the tree? Oh, there it is. It's right here. So we're going to go over here. We are going to get ourselves geared up, and then we are going to try this. I have already looked through some of these chests here, so I kind of have an idea of the loot that is available. Um, I'm not impressed. It's just like I said earlier, it is kind of pathetic, to be perfectly honest. And you will notice too that there are supposed to be clay pots throughout here, and there's two. That's two, three. That's about all that I did see on my initial run through of this area, just kind of looking at it. I'm also interested in seeing how much loot we get from the actual spawners. Like, are the spawners going to be enough that they are worth bothering with? Because as of right now, I really don't see a lot of this as something that you would want to do more than once. And you do it once, you've done it, oh well, goodbye. You never want to do it again. So yeah, let me get geared up and I'll bring you guys back in. Alrighty, welcome back. So to continue with our video, we are gonna go through this and see what all we can get out of here, and really just see how much we get and how much time this is going to take to clear. Um, there are a few issues that I perceive with this. One being that the trial chamber spawners are on a timer. So backtracking through here could be problematic if I'm trying to go back. So we may end up having to do a couple of spawners more than once. So yeah, that's where we are at. Let's go over our gear a little bit. You will notice right off the back that I accidentally grabbed chainmail leggings. Yeah, so going off the idea that this is supposed to be mid game, and my idea of mid game is a lot more enchanted than what I have here, but maybe somebody else's idea of enchanted is a little bit less, closer to what I have going on here, and then maybe even it's just barely more than what Exuma actually had. So we did go with kind of a mid range as far as enchants, and we do not have overpowered enchants. One of the things that I did not do that I'm just now thinking about we probably should have is Depth Strider on the boots. That would definitely be able to get us through water a little bit quicker if we come across any kind of water patches. So let's just go over it. First off, I usually don't use a shield. So we have Unbreaking because pretty much the only freaking thing you can put on a shield. Enchanting a shield is almost pointless. Having a shield is almost pointless. I am not a fan of shields. Um, so helmet, we only have protection 3 and I'm breaking 2 on it. Chest plate, protection 3, I'm breaking 2. Protection 3, I'm breaking 2. Protection 3, I'm breaking 2. Yeah, we just got protection all the way around, and unbreaking 2 on all those. You will also notice that I did not bother putting mending on any of this. Um, I don't foresee that being an issue. It might end up being an issue, but I don't know for sure. We'll just see when that comes up. For our bow, I have Infinity because I am an Infinity user. Screw anything other than Infinity. Uh, we got Power 3 on there, Punch 1, so we do have this kind of underpowered a little bit. I do think you would probably have a lot more going on than just that. Same with the Unbreaking. I assume you would already have Unbreaking 3, but we only put Unbreaking 2 on this. Like I said, I am trying to go like midway between what I actually think you would have and what Exuma showed, which is why we got supposed to be iron leggings instead of diamond. The idea being that, oh, maybe if you're mid, you don't have full diamond gear yet, whatever. Swords, we do have three. I did three for a specific reason. That's because we do know a little bit about the trial chamber. So we got our standard unbreaking and sharpness three here. We probably could have put a little bit more on there, like sweeping edge and all that. But again, like I said, I am trying to keep this between what I think and what Exuma actually showcased in his video. Then we got this sword with smite and fire aspect. So this should work really good against undead. Thinking about it, we probably should have put knockback on that. I decided to put knockback on this Bane of Arthropods because I do know one of the mobs that spawns in here is cave spiders, which are poisonous. So we are going to have to be dealing with a little bit of poison. I do need to grab some poison potions, and actually thinking about it, I don't think we're going to need the axe. I grabbed the axe specifically to light up the bulbs, the copper bulbs. I don't think it's necessary. Like, just looking around this thing, it is so bright and colorful that I don't think you need to worry about light at all. I do have some torches. That's kind of like habit. So those are there. I have my one arrow for the infinity bow. I grabbed a bucket of water just in case. I don't really know what we're going to need that for, but yeah, this is what I'm going with, and we are going to see how long it takes me to clear this, loot everything, see what we get, and then we're going to find a spot to set up a little temporary like makeshift base to like store all of the stuff that we get out of here. So yeah, sit back, relax, and cue the time lapse. So that quick little time lapse took us about 15 minutes. Um, I'm not impressed. That was kind of pathetic, to be perfectly honest. We aren't even all that well geared. I mean, we're rocking protection 3 and unbreaking 2 on everything. We don't even have mending. We're not using like overly enchanted gear. We're using what I would consider just like garbage gear to do this. So my point stands that Exuma really, really, really undershowed just the level of difficulty of this. Um, because he was using just flat out iron gear, it made it look like it was a little more difficult from his video. And mainly the only problem I had at all just then was the fact that wasn't paying attention to the spider spawner that was behind me. Everything else, no issue. Like, this was underwhelming majorly. Um, in fact, like I said, I was gonna do like 3 to 5 of these. I don't even feel like doing a second one. I mean, I'm going to, but this was kind of pathetic. As far as the loot, the loot's on par with um, in cities. And if you know anything about me and my channel, I don't like going in raiding because I don't think it's worth it. The loot is kind of pathetic. I will give the loot here one thing. There was a quite a bit of it in just this one trial chamber. Um, Nothing to write home about. We didn't even get any diamonds. We got like 6 diamond chest plates, which is okay. None of these are cursed, but none of these are really anything I would be extremely happy to have found. They're all kind of mediocre at best. It would make a good base. So you take it home, put it in a grind wheel, you get rid of those enchants, and then you put your enchants that you want on it later. Um, so there is that. Unfortunately, we only got chest plates. We got 4 iron boots, same kind of deal. I'm not really fond of any of these. Uh, we got 4 pieces of lapis. We got some bricks from breaking pots. We got the one spawner, or the 2 spawners that were slime, so we did end up getting quite a bit of slime balls. Um, as far as loot from the actual trial spawners, we mostly got emeralds and the trial key. We got 10 of these things. We don't know what these are going to be used for yet, but unless they're going to tweak this a little bit, these things are way too easy to get. Way too easy. I don't. I Minecraft is not set up for this kind of item to be easily farmed. We don't, like I said, we don't know what this is for yet, but just based on what I did in 15 minutes, I really don't feel like this is going to be important enough to be something that you're constantly going after. It's going to be kind of a whoop-de-doo thing. Like, look at me, I got 10 of these, and it only took a few minutes. What is this going to be for? What is this going to open? Is there going to be a large cache somewhere of uh, loot? Um, Even at that, like some of the loot that we got, we did get a helmet. Um, the loot that I got was lackluster. Finding golden apples, okay, that's cool. We found a few, but that's pretty common in all the places that you find loot. Like golden apples is in all of them. So if you want to go to an ancient city and raid there, you're going to get golden apples. If you want to go to in cities, you're going to get golden apples. So golden apples just really don't feel that special to me. Um, I don't even hardly ever use them. You will have noticed in that little time lapse that we didn't even. I didn't bother grabbing any pots to worry about the slowness from the strays. Um, I really just ate my pork chops and just kept killing strays, spiders, and the breeze. The breeze. Okay, I don't like the breeze. The breeze is a pain in a different way. I don't know if you guys probably caught it, but arrows will not hit the breeze. You are going to have to get in melee range to hit it, which is a problem considering that it has a knockback attack. So anytime the thing attacks, it's going to knock you back. So you're it's just going to keep pushing you away, and that's going to get annoying. It's going to be a mob that isn't a delight to fight. It's going to be an annoyance to fight. Um, because it's just going to knock you away, and it's going to be like doing little bits of damage. It's not like you're getting overwhelmed by a whole bunch of husk or zombies or something, or you've bitten off more than you can chew with a brute. It's just going to keep knocking you away and chipping at your health, which is just going to be annoying until you can get into melee range with it and kill it. So I don't like the breeze. It's not a delight to fight. I think they need to take that back, and yeah, they need to rethink the breeze. Right now, it's kind of pathetic. We did get a few food items here. We got a cake, so the cake is not a lie. You can find cake in here. We got a golden carrot from one of the trial spawners. I don't know why we got a single golden carrot from a trial spawner, but we did. That's kind of pathetic. There were a few glowberries. I don't know why there are glowberries in there other than having a food source. We also found baked potatoes, which is whoop-de-doo. We found saddles and horse armor. Okay, Mojang. This is what I was talking about when I was saying that you guys do not have the loot pool for doing these kinds of things. Who Horse armor is one of those things that you really don't need, and you find way too much of it. Same with saddles. Saddles used to be really hard to come by, but in recent years, they're throwing saddles at us. Like I can't even tell you how many times I'm throwing out saddles in my Let's Play. As far as horse armor, I do collect it, but it's kind of one of those items that you're collecting, and then you quickly realize like, why am I collecting this? Um, so overall, it's just exactly like I was concerned about. It seems like it's a waste of time. There's nothing in any of these enchants that I really feel like was important enough to get. We did get this efficiency 5, but really the only way I see that as being useful is if they go ahead with the experimental feature of how villagers are going to work, which I really wish they wouldn't, because I don't like it. That is just my personal opinion. Other people have their opinions, but they're just being moronic about it because it's just going to be more of a hassle. You're being forced to use specific types of villagers for certain things, and it's just going to make it. It's just going to make your villagers messy. So I really don't like it, and I wish they wouldn't go with it. And I wish influencers would quit pushing and saying that that's really good. Same with the trial chamber. So far, I'm not impressed, and I don't know why influencers are saying, "Oh, this is amazing, this is great." I just proved that this was fairly simple with really underwhelming gear. So it didn't even really feel like a challenge. The loot I got from it is lackluster. There's nothing here that I would really care about. An iron axe with mending. It's like, why are you putting mending on iron? Why? Like, if you're doing that, like you've got way too many mending books already. Um, so yeah. As far as these trial keys, until we know what these are actually for, really don't intrigue me that much. Just based on what I was seeing here, within 15 minutes we got 10 of these. So that's roughly what? That's roughly one every minute and 20 seconds. Just off the top of my head, I don't actually know. Somebody else will have to break that down. Um, but to me, that's literally one every minute and 20 seconds. So these are not hard to come by. I don't see that these are going to be opening treasure chests of some sort that produces loot because we're getting way too many of them. Same for opening some kind of vault that has multiple chests in there. First off, it's Minecraft. You could just dig into the vault. Unless they're going to make it out of something that you can't dig through, which I would argue just defeats the purpose of Minecraft being a dig, collect resources, and build game. That really feels like it's going in the wrong direction. Uh, on top of that, um, let's get into spectator mode here. Um, there is one thing that I was noticing with this, and I was thinking about it as I was getting the loot. Um, because all of these blocks here are something that you can actually mine. Um, Apparently, we missed a freeze here. It's not inconceivable for you to clear this area out and create some kind of trap that will automatically kill all of these guys, meaning and then collect the loot. So there, it's really, again, it's just kind of lackluster. Like, I'm not impressed with it. I don't see any good coming from this. I see a lot more harm coming from this than I do good. Uh, these this is going to be a very easy farm to set up, um, and it would just be your standard mob dropper. So you would just stand somewhere like, I don't know, here in a protected area to where these mobs can't get to you. They fall into a water stream that then pushes them into or they spawn in a water stream that then pushes them into a lava trap with hoppers underneath. So you collect the loot from them, and potentially you have water pushing the items off the top of these spawners. Um, I'm not really sure how you would go about it, but I guarantee you that Psycraft, of all people, will come up with a way to absolutely break this mechanic. Um, I don't see this as a win at all. I see this as a a game breaking mechanic that they have introduced, and unknowingly thinking this is going to be a great idea, but nobody stopped to think about what this could potentially mean. Um, this could be the easiest and most broken farm ever created. Like, even more broken than a raid farm. Especially if you are supposed to get diamonds from these. Because if you're supposed to get diamonds from these, you could easily AFK at these things, and every 30 minutes just earn free diamonds. Free diamonds. Over and over and over. You could even set this up to where it has a kill chamber where you are, it'd be more problematic, but where you are using a looting sword to kill the mobs. So there is a lot of trouble and issues I see with this overall. It is not good. Uh, so yeah, I'm actually not going to collect all that stuff and bring it back somewhere. This is actually, I do know an easy way to do that. Give me a few minutes on that. I'm pretty sure we got all the loot from over there. I've got to find this again. And then we are going to go off and see if we can find another trial chamber and see what kind of loot we get from that. I mean, we could just wait 30 minutes on this, but I'm interested in seeing not just the uh, spawners themselves, but also from the chests. And unfortunately, we've already been through all this, so these chests are not going to respawn. They are not going to have new items in there. So yeah, let me work on that. We'll get to another trial chamber and do another time lapse there. I'm probably only going to do the two because just doing the one, it just I'm not impressed. That's all I gotta say. It's pathetic. All right, so we have found another one here. This one looks to be a little bit bigger, so I imagine this one's going to take a little bit more time to get through and clear. We are going to be using the exact same gear. I made this lodestone compass so I could find my way back to where I put all the stuff. And you will notice that I do have a shulker box there. Um, should probably use a couple of shulker boxes. We're not going to worry about too much. That's just going to stay there until we are done. I'll worry about that once we are done here and got all the loot and see exact exactly what we get here. So let's just jump right back into survival and get on with another time lapse. All right, take two. And before we really get into it, let me jump over here. Yes, the mic is going. We are recording our voice. I just did a 10-15 minute rant, and I didn't have the mic on. Lovely. Okay, so let's get into this a little bit. So you just saw that we did a second trial chambers. That one took about 18 minutes, a little bit more, a little bit less. Not really sure, but it was about 18 minutes when I glanced at the footage. Um, and I gotta say, I'm not impressed. I'm definitely not impressed. So let's go over what we actually found in there. So we found some more horse armor. Okay, Mojang, please stop throwing horse armor at us. The horse armor is useless unless you're using it as a decoration inside of an item frame or you're decking out some horses. Like I'm honestly tired of finding horse armor. Horse armor is in every major looting group there is, and it's not really worth anything. Um, though definitely keep it in some loot tables, just stop putting it in every loot table. As far as the potions, so we didn't find any potions in the first trial chamber, which was kind of odd. We found these three in the second, but as you saw with my footage, um, you, I didn't even need these. Okay, we are still rocking like basic armor. Like these are basic tools in my opinion. These are not the end all be all items. These are not, uber setups that we have here. They're basic. They're bland, and we were able to just basically march straight through the trial chamber. It really wasn't all that challenging. So I don't really see the need for the potions, and if it's supposed to be something that is there, maybe they need to increase the weight of potions being dropped. I don't know why there's a compass. That was really weird to me. And of course, there's also a saddle. Saddles are one of those items that either you can't find any or you have a million of them and no idea what to do with them. Same thing with the horse armor. Like, please stop putting these two items into every loot table. It's getting annoying. We did find a couple of moss blocks down there. I'm kind of surprised that there was moss. We found a bamboo hanging sign. I'm not really sure why that was there. Uh, yeah, and then some rudimentary blocks there that we got. Okay, moving on. We got two more keys, a heck of a lot less than we did the first time around. Uh, Again, until we really know what these keys are for, I really don't know what to say about them or the trial chamber as a whole, because these keys, these keys are kind of tricky to talk about. Okay, so if Mojang is making some kind of world chest item that needs a key to open up, um, first off, I would ask why, because most likely this means it's going to be locked and possibly partially indestructible, like the new spawners. I don't like that because that means we can't move them, we can't uh, reposition them in the world somewhere else. Now, I have been saying on Exuma's videos that more than likely these keys will allow us to move those around. They will unlock those and we will be able to pick them up and move them and make actual like farms out of these. Um, that is the only thing I could think of that makes sense as far as getting these keys and why we would be able to get so many of them. Um, because if there's a chest out there in the world, that chest needs to be constantly repopulated. So you just grab a whole bunch of these keys, and every so often you go over to that chest, you open it, and see whatever your loot is. Which we'll get more into the loot and how pathetic Minecraft's loot tables are here in a minute. But this just seems like a bad mechanic here. The only way I could see these keys as actually being useful is if it allows us to move spawners. to pick up and move a spawner. That is the only thing I could see these as actually being viable and useful for. As far as the ores or metals or raw materials, we didn't really find that many in both of them. So we found a little bit of lapis. We found some amethyst. Okay, amethyst. Like the lapis, I don't mind. The amethyst, just remove that. Same as the horse armor and the uh, saddles. They're in too many loot pools. Right now, the amethyst shards are fairly easy to get, and I forget what other loot pool they are in. So I don't think this is necessary at all, especially considering that amethyst shards is something you can possibly farm. Um, Emeralds, well, between the two dungeons, we got 19 emeralds. Flat out, I'm going to be brutally honest here. It's pathetic. You could actually, with the auto farm and a couple of farm villagers, you could get a lot more emeralds in a heck of a lot less time. So I don't feel like this was worth it at all. It just felt like that for that much diamonds. I know that was a very short amount of time, 18 minutes and 15 minutes. But the fact of the matter is, if you have a farm and you have a farm villager, you can get a lot more emeralds in a much quicker amount of time. So it's whoop-de-doo. I'm not impressed. These specialty arrows that you can find all around. Okay, this seriously, down in the comments, let me know. Does anybody use these? These are the most useless item in the game. I seriously want to know if anybody uses these. And it doesn't matter if you're a mending bow user or an infinity bow user. Do you use these specialty arrows? And then we got a few mob drops here. We got a whole bunch of arrows down there, mostly because I'm using infinity. We got some string from the spiders, some slime balls from the slime spawners, and a whole bunch of bones. Eh, not a lot going on there, but that is what we got. Food. So the food really confuses me. We got 3 of the bottom tier foods in baked potatoes, glowberries, and honeycomb. Okay, I will admit baked potatoes is probably not bottom tier, but compared to some other things, it is pretty low. I don't know why we got these 3, and then we got the absolute mammoth that is a golden carrot in some of them, and then we got 4 enchanted golden apples uh, in both trial chambers. So these are I don't understand the split here. So we got like the bottom of the barrel and then the best of the best. We don't have anything in between. We don't have any steak. We don't have pork chops. We don't have cooked chicken. None of that. And then we got a cake. Okay. I don't know why the cake's there. As far as armor and tools and whatnot, okay, this Minecraft is not built for adventuring. Okay, this is not like Terraria where we have hundreds of items for different play styles and different builds. Okay, Minecraft is very, very basic in that term. So this loot that we were able to pick up, none of it is anything that I would typically actually bring back with me. None of it. Aside from, I think there was one axe, yeah. But it's an iron axe. It's an iron axe with mending. That's probably the only thing I would actually take from here. This has Curse of Vanishing, so yeah, I'm not taking that. The rest of these are just it the 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 gear and loot in Minecraft is just pathetic. It's mind-boggling to me that they would make a roguelike dungeon into vanilla Minecraft and not heavily excuse me, and not heavily change the item and the style of gameplay within Minecraft. And by that, I mean adding hundreds of items like armor and weapons and tools. Okay? We have basically 3 sets of tools and armor. That's it. We have iron, diamond, and netherite. Yes, I am aware we have wood and stone, um, but those are generally something that you skip past. You get them to start, you throw them away, and you never use them again. You're either going to be using iron for quite a bit of your playthrough, you're going to be using diamond for your mid to end game, and unless you're just absolutely against netherite, um, you're not going to use that. But if you're pro netherite, you're probably going to get it. So that's it. Those three. Um, I don't know what to say there because the loot table in a roguelike dungeon, like there needs to be actual loot. There needs to be something to go after, some kind of goal or item that you're hoping to get. None of this is worth anything to me. This is all junk. It's the same for end cities. I don't really bother with that stuff too often. I know there's other players that make videos and do the YouTube thing, showing them going and raiding this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just garbage that you're bringing home and then trying to store. And then last, we have a few enchanted books. Again, I'm tired of beating this horse dead. Um, I'm not too happy with the experimental features that go with villager trading. Um, and this just furthers that because these are kind of, I mean, there's a couple of good ones. We got like efficiency 4 and 5 and impaling, which I don't know why you would have impaling, but you got impaling 5 there. But we did get one mending, which again is kind of one mending for how much time that we put in, which again I can't reiterate enough. We really didn't spend that much time. But the point is, in the current Minecraft, and even if they do make the experimental changes standard, you can still get mending, a lot more mending books, a lot quicker than what we got down there. So I don't understand what the point was. Um, Overall, the trial chambers themselves are kind of boring, in my opinion. They're not really well thought out. They're very small. The fact that we were done with them in less than 20 minutes, I'm not impressed. It was. I know this is like a snapshot, and this is just the first iteration of it. I will tell Mojang you need to make them a little bit bigger. You need to make them last a little bit longer, and you need the enemies to vary a little bit more. That second one being nothing but strays and breeze was kind of annoying. As far as the breeze enemy, I don't like it. The breeze is just, it's very annoying to fight. It's not a fun fight, and as you notice that I didn't really try to heal myself while trying to kill the breezes, because they don't really do any damage to you. Yes, they can make you pop up and take fall damage, but they weren't popping you up high enough that that fall damage was life-threatening. So it was more just annoying, like pushing me away from it, so I couldn't get close enough to kill it. Um, and having my arrows not deal damage to it just kind of sucked. Uh, so I don't know what was going on there. And that is something that I talked about earlier when I thought the mic was on. As far as tools and weapons compared to Terraria. Okay, so in Minecraft, you are typically one of two types of players as far as combat is concerned. Technically three, but we're not really going to count that because it's two different versions of melee. Either you're a sword user or you're an axe user. It's still melee damage. The other one being a bow. You're either a bow user or you're a sword user or axe. So you're either using a bow or you're using a melee weapon. That's it. That's all there is in Minecraft. And as you could tell from some of the footage, I am primarily a bow user. That is pretty much what I use. And I don't know of anybody out there that actually uses crossbows. I mean, crossbows just suck in general. They're terrible. We need the enchants like revamped. I have some thoughts on that, and I've thought about making another video for that. We'll say that for another day. But yeah, that is a little bit less than what I wanted to do for the trial chambers and talking about this and just seeing what the loot is actually like. Again, I hate to be a Debbie Downer on this, but I am not impressed, Mojang. It's pathetic. Frankly, I feel like this is going to be a waste of time for your development team, unless you're really going to back down on this and like add a ton of new items, and I do mean a ton. It's pointless. It seems like it's a waste of time and effort. You could have been spending that time on making new blocks and new colors and new things for us to use in building. Like one of the things I would really like to see, and this is not for me, this is actually for our female counterparts, and I've talked about it a few times. Getting pastel tree colors. So we got pastel woods. And one of the ideas that I had come across is having trees out in the end that only grow in the end. So that you do have that kind of caveat to trying to farm them, is they will only grow in the end. So yeah, I do think you need to focus more on adding building blocks and building items for us to make really cool things instead of making pathetic roguelike dungeons. That's just how I feel about it. Let me know what you guys feel about it down in the comments below. And as I said earlier, if I'm able to make another video, I will see you then. If not, please leave a like and subscribe, because it will hopefully go a long way in the future of really getting this channel up and going, and I would definitely appreciate the support. Until next time, guys, I'm Natanus Likens, and I'm out.